It's now time to take a look at news stories making headlines around the globe. As always, we begin here at home, where victory again for Edo State Governor Monday Okpebholo. The Edo State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Abuja has affirmed his win in last year's governorship election. A three-member panel headed by Justice Wilfred Bochi dismissed the petition filed by the People's Democratic Party and its candidate Asue Ighodalo against the outcome of the election. The panel says Ighodalo and the PDP failed to call competent witnesses to prove the allegations of non-compliance with the Electoral Act. The tribunal says the failure of the petitioners to call polling unit officers, presiding officers, or even voters during the election proved fatal to their petition. Following the tribunal's decision, the next port of call is the appeal court. Governor Okpebholo's council and a cross-section of APC members have hailed the tribunal's decision.
News to us because Edo people have spoken before. The court has just reaffirmed what Edo people voted for. So we want to thank God, we want to thank the people of Edo, and I also want to congratulate my principal, the executive governor of Edo State, distinguished Senator Monday Okpebholo.
It's victory for the great people of Edo State, because it's not a victory for Monday Okpebholo, it's victory for Edo State because Monday Okpebholo is the governor of Edo State. He was elected by Edo people. And we are using this opportunity to call on everybody in the state to come together at this point so that we can move the state forward.
Now, with respect to the judgments delivered had absolutely nothing, no semblance whatsoever with all the documents that were circulating yesterday. So it is really kudos to the judiciary, number one, and then especially congratulations to the learned judges of the tribunal. There are 3 stages of the process. This is only the first stage, but we are quite happy on behalf of our clients, the governor, that at least we have emerged victorious at this stage.
The tribunal dismissed our case. That's the summary of everything. But we are very hopeful that some issues that we raised and we canvassed, we'll frame them up and we'll appeal. See how we can advise our client on something.
All right. We're now joined by Dr. Blessing Agbomhere, All Progressives Congress South-South Zonal Organizing Secretary, to get deeper into this conversation. Good morning, Doctor, and welcome to the program today.
Good morning.
Doctor, good morning. APC. A lot of celebration yesterday, people singing on Okpebholo's mandate this time, but you know very clearly that both the PDP and Asue Ighodalo, their candidate in that election, have said that they're going straight to the Court of Appeal. Don't you think that perhaps APC and Governor Okpebholo are celebrating a bit too early, since this matter can still go on appeal?
Well, thank you, Dr. Abati. As you can see, lots of people in Edo State and all over the country are happy and celebrating the victory of the APC in Edo State and the victory of Senator Monday Okpebholo, the executive governor of Edo State. Without missing words, we want to advise Obaseki and Asue Ighodalo not to bother to appeal this judgment, because this is the court of first instance. And the court of first instance is the court of evidence. And again, they all know that in this court of first instance, they were not able to adduce evidence to support their case. So going to the appeal and going to the Supreme Court, for me, I think it's a waste of time for them and it's a waste of resources. And if they have these resources too much in their disposal, they can actually invest it in the lives of Edo people. So there's no need to appeal this. What has happened has happened. I think they have to move on. And they don't have to further display their desperation to seize the government of Edo State, because Edo people will not allow that to happen. And as we speak, Senator Monday Okpebholo has already started administering the state. He is doing well for Edo people, that as we speak today, Edo people are so glad that God gave them Senator Monday Okpebholo as governor. He has displayed so far that he's a man who believes in the rule of law. He's a man who believes in good governance, and he's doing that with his leadership currently in the state. If you go to Edo State today, you can see what is going on in the education sector, to the point that the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, had to applaud the efforts so far put in the educational system in Edo State. So for me, I just think that Asue should not waste his time. Rather, the governor, I have interacted with him on several occasions, is open to engaging Asue to make his contributions to the people of Edo State if he so believes and if he wanted to contribute to the betterment of Edo State. And I also believe that you must not contribute as the governor of the state. Service, regardless the positions, if you want to serve, you can serve. Asue can serve as essay on economy to the governor of Edo State. He can serve as PA. He can serve in different capacities. He can even serve as a senator. He can serve as a councillor. If actually what he wants is to serve Edo people. So he must not be governor. Now that the Court of Assistance has done what they have done, looking at the weight and merit of their case, and has given judgment in favor of the APC and Governor Okpebholo, I think the best thing to prove that he's a patriot, to prove that Asue actually wants to serve Edo, is to join hands with his brother, the current governor of the state, and work with him and, bring his ideas on board, join hands with him to develop the state for the good of all Edo people.
Okay, sir, except that I'm amused. Number one, you cannot tell a litigant not to exhaust the options available to that litigant within the judicial process. So if PDP and Asue Ighodalo have said, as they have, that they are going to go on appeal, I don't think anybody can say don't go on appeal. And then the campaign is over. Don't worry about whatever Okpebholo is doing. The people of Edo State will worry about that. As for Asue Ighodalo, he says he wants to be governor. It's not up to anybody to say, go and be a special assistant to Okpebholo or go to Senate. But we'll see how this pans out. This is just the beginning of the process. In my view, that is.
Dr. Abati, you see, I am not saying that he does not have a right to go to court. But I am saying, during the campaign period, he claimed to be a patriot. And you see, when we say we are patriots, patriotism is not a thing of the mouth. When you say you are a patriot, you have to act it, you have to behave it, and you have to live it. I am only encouraging him. Aside the fact that he has the right to appeal, I am only encouraging him to prove to Edo people and Nigerians that he's truly a patriot. Go to America, where sometimes, Ms. Dr. Abati, you don't miss words, where you bring American democracy vis-a-vis the Nigerian democracy. What drives the American democracy is the patriotism of the citizens of the United States of America. So I'm only begging him and encouraging him to display that same patriotism, to join hands with Senator Monday Okpebholo, who's already doing well. Edo people are appreciating the governor of the state for what he's doing, and he's ready to accommodate everybody to join hands to build a new Edo.
Thank you for that. Of course, one case that's still in very recent memory is that of Adeleke versus Oyetola, and we know that given that instance, the tribunal was just a first step. We know what happened after appeal and even Supreme Court. So this is just the beginning. However, let's dig into some of the statements you've made around. Of course, we've seen some politically affiliated people celebrating, but you said Edo people in general are in a state of celebration. However, Edo State has been in the news for the wrong reasons over the past few days. Now, what has unearthed is that it seems Governor Okpebholo has dismantled the security infrastructure that had been created by his predecessor, Governor Obaseki. And now we see how the situation has turned into a terrible security situation. Unfortunate and tragic incidents happening, some reported, some unreported. So I just want you to speak to this dismantling. What's the plan for security in Edo State? Because Governor Obaseki, former Governor Obaseki, had a security infrastructure in place, and there are testimonies to the fact that it worked. And clearly it has been dismantled and it has stopped working. What's the plan?
You see, most of the time, Nigerians talk without examining the facts. The truth of the matter is that what we are experiencing in Edo today, the insecurity we are experiencing in Edo, is a spillover of the Obaseki's administration. And Senator Monday, as the governor of Edo State, is doing everything possible to curb the current situations in Edo State. And why will I say it's a spillover? What happened in Uromi recently, that many of us are making references to, was the error of the local vigilante that were formed by Obaseki. And this same vigilante that were suspended by the IG of police during the last elections. And if you realize, the reason why Senator Monday fired the head of the Edo State Security Corps was because that man failed to ensure that those unprofiled vigilantes, those unprofiled persons who are providing illegal security within the state are not there and are replaced by the legal security system headed by the police, DSS, and other security agencies.
Edo Security Network was legitimate. Why was it disbanded? Edo Security Network was legitimate. Why was it disbanded?
Let me explain something to you. It's not about legitimate or not being legitimate. It's about the training. The training. This same Uromi crisis was not caused by the Uromi people. It was caused by the vigilante, one of the unprofiled vigilante members who drew the attention of the Uromi people to a group of persons that were traveling. He saw them. He was the one who saw them and shouted kidnappers. And you know the way Nigeria is today. Because of what the Uromi people, the Esan people, the Edo people have suffered in the hands of bandits who oppress them, who humiliate them, who rape their sisters and their wives within the farmlands. When these vigilantes shouted, see kidnapper, see kidnapper, that was what spurred the people of Uromi to react the manner which they reacted. We are not justifying the manner they reacted or whatever they did, but I'm trying to establish here that it was the shortfall of Obaseki's administration. It was these vigilantes that Obaseki was using as governor, and some of them who are still operating illegally that caused this. But the governor had to sack the head of the agency for not knowing that some of these illegal vigilantes that were established by Obaseki are still in operation. Okay, and let me also make you understand this. The governor has been very, very proactive.
Can you hear me?
In terms of security.
Can you hear me? Please, you can come and play politics all you want, but we know you are being political. That same vigilante group had also put in place security and restored hope to the Uromi people that the same Governor Okpebolo have let down. He has not gone to visit them, even when the women were protesting. He had not solved the security problem, but he went to Kanu, which we also say, yeah, it's good to extend the hands of fellowship to the people that were hurt, which we condemn their killing. So please, do not come here to play politics. Let's face the judgment that we are talking about, because that same vigilante group had stepped in the gap and had provided security to the people the same governor is failing on. Most importantly, the question I'd like to ask today is the fact that, no, let me finish, please. The question I'd like to ask today is the fact that the PDP is feeling disgruntled. They feel that despite the court said they did a good job at chronologically loading all their evidence and they called up a lot of weaknesses, which when the examination was going on, a lot of people saw how robust their work was. But in the end, the court is saying they didn't, help them through the evidence. Take, for instance, they brought the Beavers machine. They didn't walk the Beavers machine for them. The question is, I'll ask you, and I don't know if you're a lawyer, what now makes up the Evidence Act? And that's why they feel disgruntled and they have every right to go to the Court of Appeal. What makes up the Evidence Act? That's just it. In your own opinion, what evidence should the PDP have brought forward?
The Great Rufai, the Great Rufai appreciate you, but when you talk, I also have a right to speak to the issues raised by you. And you don't live in Uromi. You don't live in Edo State. I live in Edo and in Abuja. And I can tell you the security situation in Edo. The governor is doing everything possible to curb the issue of insecurity in the state. And don't also forget, the governor is not a miracle worker. The governor is not a magician. He has to follow due processes. And today in Edo State, the DSS, the police, the army, the navy, the customs, the immigration, and all security agencies cannot complain anymore of resources. They cannot complain of instrument to work. It's just a matter of time that we'll begin to see the results of the governor's investment in the security system in Edo State. The governor is particularly concerned about the welfare of the people of Edo State, for which he was elected. He was elected to do two things for Edo people: to protect the life and property of Edo people, and to provide good governance for Edo people, and that is doing with all his efforts. And then going to court and talking about the tribunal and talking about the evidence that you said the PDP loaded. Mr. Rufai, I can assure you that you are not a lawyer. I am a lawyer. I am a good lawyer for that matter. And I followed this case from the beginning to the end. And not just follow the case, I was in court all through. And not just being in court all through, I studied the documents, papers, evidence that were produced before the court by the PDP. And ab initio, I knew that the PDP had no case. I knew the PDP had no case. And let me make you understand this. The law is mathematical. The law is scientific. In law, 1 + 1 is 2. I'm not a student of the school of thought of those who believe that you can do whatever you like with the law. The law is what the law says it is. And what the judges did in the case of Asue Ighodalo and Obaseki is very clear to all the lawyers who attended that tribunal, including the lawyer of Asue Ighodalo and that of the PDP. From the beginning, I saw a senior advocate of Nigeria in the person of Kemozia stammering in court. Wole was there, stammering in court. Why? Because all their case was built on allegations without evidence to back their claims. And not just that, even the evidence they tried to produce before the court were dumped on the court. And one of their star witnesses was Aneni's son, that is this boy. When he came to court, he confessed to the court during cross-examination that he was not in any polling unit. He was not at the polling unit. He was not at the collation center of the local government. So everything he said to the hearing of the court was hearsay. And you and I know that the court does not believe in hearsay. Hearsay is not acceptable evidence.
Okay,
hearsay is not a credible evidence.
Dr. Agbomhere.
Now, the court asked a question. Let me explain this to you. During the trial, the court asked most of the PDP witnesses. Now, you are coming to tell the court that what you know about this election was based on hearsay. Are you saying that the people who were at the polling unit, the collation agents, were dead, were not available?
Dr. Agbomhere.
So what I'm trying to make you understand, is that there was no case.
If I can get a word in sideways, I mean, it's already established that this matter is not ending so soon. It's going to go all the way to the Supreme Court. But everyone knows that, you are very passionate about your support for Senator Monday Okpewolo. So that's very clear. But I'm surprised that you are not wearing your spy uniform. During the other time, you were wearing spy, or is it SPY they call them, in protest against a certain process. Are you going to do it this time around in the course of this process?
I was trained, Dr. Abati, I was trained by the Nigerian police to be a spy supernumerary chief superintendent of police. And my training made me believe and made me know that I have a duty to my country, Nigeria, and to protect the lives and property of Nigerians as a spy police officer. And what I did with the election, without apology, was rendering a duty not to APC, not to anybody, but to Nigerians. So that is not an error. I did not do that in error. And if I had the opportunity again to do it, I would do it again. Because what I did was to push away those who were ready to feast on the resources of Edo people. And I did that defending my country, Nigeria, defending the people of Nigeria. So I have no regret I did that. And I'm telling you, I am a proud supernumerary chief superintendent of police. I'm not a conventional police. A conventional police may not do such. But being a volunteer police officer, I can do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Blessing Agbomhere. We continue to keep eyes on the situation. Of course, we all do believe, and PDP has assured us that it doesn't end here.